I'm Anne Marie, a member of the Sunfire Stable show team, with another installment of I Signed Up for the Show Team. What's next? Our topic today is end of the season follow-up, roundup. That's not even the word that I'm looking for. Anyhow, I'm here with Katie and Elliot, Elliot was the writer and Katie is the show mom. You guys can step up a little bit here. There we go. And just kind of discussing what we were talking before I turned the camera on is, what you felt about being a brand new shower, very new writer, and a brand new show mom. You got the show packet and you said, "Oh my word, what am I in for here?"
It was like looking at a different language.
Mm-hmm.
I do not have a riding background at all, besides going on trail rides and a few lessons here and there. So reading any information from that was extremely tricky for me.
Okay, so maybe some translations could maybe help in that too. So, and I guess when we were talking too, maybe that's in part why I started this video series. I can't address everything, but some of the things that come up initiate other questions that answers can come out of. Elliot, how about you with your riding experience? You started out brand new.
It was definitely like a little confusing. Because for the first show at Pepper's, I was showing Coda.
Okay.
And, she had signed us up for things that we really didn't know what they were about.
Right.
So she signed me up for a couple classes, and now we're looking back at them like we could have done so much more.
So much more. But at the beginning, you didn't know what the classes were, which is kind of a it's a double-edged sword. Is it a walk trot class? Is it barrel racing? Is it flag in the sand? Things like that you just have to kind of watch maybe the previous rider and see what happens there. What about your experience with experience? You started out brand new, and by the end of the show season, you're walking out with some ribbons. That one showmanship class that you won with him, and I thought, holy Hannah, what's going on here? How about that?
It was being new was definitely a little hard because there was a lot of other new girls with me.
Right.
And the ones that I was closer with were also brand new.
Right.
So I knew to ask a couple of the girls what to do, but other than that, Jen was always busy, so there wasn't a lot that I could do to ask.
Right.
We watched a lot.
Yeah.
You know what? And that's what happens, especially in a group that big. One person can't be everything to everybody, and so you kind of, if there's something that goes awry. There was one show where one of the horses started acting up a little bit, little naughty, and a lot of attention was focused on that. And so you got to literally kind of pull yourself up by the bootstraps and say, okay, I'm in class 14, it's 12 now. Yeah. Where do I have to be? What do I have to do? Not have a meltdown, or have the meltdown, but pull yourself up and get over to the arena and to the gate and get going.
Yeah.
How about finding the help with other people?
I don't know.
Well, for the show mom standpoint, during lessons, when the other moms were sitting there, I would ask a lot of questions about, how does this work? What does this mean? What does she have to do?
Right.
How do we do that?
Right.
And I would ask a lot of questions that way. Jen isn't always perfectly accessible for every question.
Right.
And so the show moms, other show moms really helped me a lot with
right.
that. And little bits of information at a time. My brain couldn't handle
the whole big
overload.
picture. It is a big picture, especially when you are doing, 3 disciplines. When you do showmanship, when you do English, and when you do Western, those are all different things. You toss in maybe a halter class, which isn't as difficult, from my standpoint. There's a lot to be digested. You have to have the right clothing, the right tack, the right pattern classes and things like that. So overall, coming out of it now, hoping you're going to go into your next show season, what advice would you give as a new shower and a new show mom?
Definitely do a lot of watching. Don't get too overwhelmed with everything that's going on. Watch what everybody else is doing, And if you know people are going to be in the same classes as you and they have a little more experience, if they're tacking up, you should start tacking up.
That's a really good point.
And let them go first.
Yes.
Right?
Well, you know what? And that's follow the leader. I mean,
Yep.
there's leader and leadership that if if Cindy Lou is tacking up her horse and she's been showing for 5 years, I guess I better get on the ball. And that's a really good thing. Good thing to watch. There was something that came to mind. I can't think of what it was, but I know. If you're new and you have the opportunity to go to a horse show before the show season starts, or if you're not going to do that one, go and watch and ask questions. Stand on the rail. Listen to the other show moms. Watch what the riders are saying and doing. Hang out at the stalls and see what's going on. I know when I went to an early show and some of the team came and watched, and they thought it was really helpful. Even though it was a horribly windy day, we didn't get a lot done. There's still experiences to learn. So.
And I think watching the behind the scenes at the stalls is really helpful. That was a part that I feel like we really didn't know. Like, she knew how to ride a horse.
Right.
But we didn't necessarily know all the parts at Peppers on our own. Like, she didn't know how to officially fully saddle all by herself.
Right.
After that, I learned how.
Right.
And I didn't know how to adjust stirrups, but I learned how.
Well, you learn how. You have to get that bobbin things up and going. So, well, anything else to wrap up? That's the word I was looking for, a wrap up.
For pattern classes, if you're doing like any patterning classes and you're not really sure about the pattern, make sure everybody else goes before you, so then you can watch them all do it.
Very helpful. Very helpful.
It helps if moms can know the patterns too.
You know what? It does, because when you're standing there with the pattern, okay, walk to A, trot to B, do back up 5 steps and leave.
Yep.
That makes a big difference.
Yep,
So.
I would go in the practice ring and I would be the judge and I would tell them where to go.
Kind of what we're doing a little bit today, learning about the ring steward. So,
yeah.
Okay, well, thank you very much, both of you, for stepping in. We're going to be doing another video in a couple minutes. So if anybody has any questions or comments, leave them below and we'll answer anything you have. Thanks much. Bye.